Well, it's actually happening. There is going to be a sequel to Grounded, so I'm going to watch a little bit of the trailer here and then get my thoughts on it after it finishes playing.
With new flexible legs, the yoke girth action figure can ride anything.
Breaking news. There's been an explosion at Brook Hollow Park. Chaos descended on a ceremony commemorating the 2-year anniversary of when 4 teenagers were miniaturized against their will and left to fight for their survival in the backyard of a deranged scientist. Formerly evil company Ominent Practical Technologies was set to dedicate a statue of the 4 teenagers, fast food science robot Burgle, and Dr. Tully when an explosion erupted. Dr. Tully and the teenagers' current whereabouts are also unknown.
All right, I'm going to pause it here and mute the sound because unfortunately there's copyrighted music in the background, but I'm going to let it play out and just talk over for a second. I'm going to go back and look at everything in it just to kind of see what's new. So definitely a new location here. It looks like we're in some kind of park in the middle of the city. And like I said, I'll just let it play and then we'll go back and look at, there's tons of new creatures. There's like a scorpion right there and some type of caterpillar. They also showed off bug mounts, which is something that I think a lot of people wanted. So I think that should make people happy. Look like there might have been a cold biome there. Yep, definitely cold biome. More scorpions. Looks like a moth or a butterfly. And then we got Ore Weaver. And then the big thing here is going to be the mounts. That did look like an oak tree there, though. So I wonder if it's going to be similar to the first game with the oak tree being like the main hub. All right, I think that was pretty much all of it there. Almost. Got the mounts fighting. Got a bug there fighting for you. Maybe. Okay, so that's pretty much the whole trailer. The big news is coming out in July, so July 29th. That's like a month and a half from now. So that's right around the exact same time the first game came out. I was honestly shocked that they dropped it that quickly. It's coming. So let's just go back through. So the beginning was just yoke girth stuff. So when I saw this, I was like, is this a spinoff of the game? But then it ended up being actually the game. Once they started getting into it, they started telling the story here. So this is kind of showing the park. You'll see, I guess, kind of the scale here. There does look like there is a pond here in the middle. So there's probably going to be some kind of water. We got what looks like I guess maybe this is going to be the statue that was going to be dedicated to them. There's a tree here in the center. Looks like an ice cream cart that was spilled over. So that's probably going to be the cold biome. I think this is a hot dog stand here. And then this is some type of garden area. So we'll just skip ahead a little bit further. So this is just kind of retelling the story of what happened. So they were going to be commemorated with a statue. And they're all beaten up here. This is Mr. Raisin here. All right, let's go ahead a little bit forward. I wanted to see what was in the city because it looked like there were some pictures from the store the store they panned past that showed some stuff. So what do we got here? These actually look like the super chips from the game. So interesting there. And then let's get inside of the park. So this is where the copyrighted music started playing, unfortunately. I'll leave a link to the whole trailer down below if you want to listen to the whole thing. So it just says this summer here. And we'll just kind of go ahead just a little bit at a time here. So we got a butterfly here. This is definitely new. There was no butterflies in the first game or some type of moth. I think it's a butterfly. I don't think moths have blue wings. So we got a new creature there. There's the bee, which is going to look familiar to most people because bees were in the first game. The plants here look mostly the same, but there is this new yellow plant here. So I don't know what that's going to be. And but we got the dandelion, so I'll expect we'll probably have dandelion tufts. We look like we got the... These are the flowers that drop the petals, or are around the yard. Or maybe they were the thistles. They might be thistles. Skip ahead a little bit further. There's a little bit of a music thing here. So it gets shrunk again. I'll just let it play, and then I'll pause it when I see something. All right, so here's a scorpion. That thing looks kind of nasty, and it's coming up against a little weevil here. Or yeah, weevil here. So got the similar. Everything looks really similar, which would make sense because if it's in the same area, and it'll probably look a little bit cleaner because it's going to be, I believe, only on current gen consoles. I can't imagine this would be going on previous gen consoles. Let's let it play just a little bit more. And that's a new mechanic there where the enemy actually burrows under the ground. Well, actually, no, they do. Do they burrow under the ground? The larvae pop out of the ground. Maybe they do that. Yeah, that's right. The antlions do this. So it's going to be similar to the antlion where they burrow on the ground, pop back out. Right here, we have a nasty looking caterpillar that maybe that eventually turns into some of the butterflies. I don't know, but that thing is pretty large. Looks bigger than most of the spiders in the game. And again, this looks like an oak tree or something similar. Yeah, this looks like maybe not. The leaves up here look a little bit different, but this will look very familiar if you played the first game, obviously. So it looks like we're getting shrunk again. And then here you're going to see something. This is a feature that a ton of people were looking for, which was going to be mounts, which maybe, if I'm assuming the map's going to be bigger here, that would make sense why they're going to have mounts. Mounts in the first game could have made sense, but the map wasn't so big that they really were needed. They could have been a little bit useful, maybe like flying mounts, but land-based mounts did not make that much sense in the first game. So I think this will be, and it looked like it was a soldier ant there. And then, of course, we have the Orb Weaver here with a ladybug behind it. An epic new game, okay. All right, let's go back one little frame there. So we got the moist and meaty hot dogs. So I guess it's got Billy Hogs in there. So there's probably gonna be Billy Hogs scattered around the map again. Let it play just a little bit more. Here's the big thing. This was something that was a lot of people speculated was going to be in the first game, was going to be a cold biome, specifically like maybe inside of the shed. Of course, the content in the shed ended up being cut and compacted down into the storage bin. So there's definitely going to be a cold biome here because this is the tipped over ice cream cart that we saw at the beginning. That said Thor was here. So what is that? Thor is one of Tully's kids. So what is this? This looks like they're walking across this. This must be inside of the area, the park where they're at. So, and there's a cooler here. This all looks vaguely familiar, with the cooler being on the picnic table, kind of like in the first game. There was an underground sequence. There's an under area sequence, or this is inside of something. This is probably like inside of, maybe it's inside the hot dog cart. It's inside of something that has electricity on it. Another underground area there. Then we're walking through like a hedge-like area here. Here's another, what is this? That's a popsicle. So again, cold biome, you can see the plants here have icicles on them, so they're a little bit frozen. This looks like maybe red ant armor, but these armors down here look, I've not seen these before, so they look a little bit different. And yeah, if we go back one frame there, that looks like red ant armor. I don't know what this looks like, but that's definitely like a different type of leg piece there. These are different weapons that I've never seen before. I don't think they're in New Game Plus, because I think I've seen what most of New Game Plus weapons look like. These do not look familiar, but this looks like a staff, so it looks like there's going to be magic in the game. And this definitely looks like heavy clothing here for the cold biome. So it looks like temperature is going to be a factor in the game, kind of like it was in the sandbox in this one. They're jumping down here into the cold area. And here's another scorpion. So it looks like scorpions are going to be, there's going to be various types of scorpions in the game, which is pretty cool. And that actually looks, I guess it's on par with the size of a spider, right? It's not like massive, because scorpions can be small, but they can also be large. And that's definitely a cool looking sword there. It's got a cool, it looks a lot, has a lot more detail than most of the swords that were in the first game. And then we got what looks like some type of butterfly here, or maybe a moth. I'm not an expert on moths or butterflies, but this is one of the two, and it does spray out like it's going to spray out some kind of dust like the moths do in the first game. So some type of AoE attack there that's going to slow you down. In the background here, this is going to look very familiar. We got clovers, we got clay. Here's the little wooden posts that look like they're in the backyard of the first game. This is an interesting thing here, is that the spider, the Orb Weaver, is actually using a web as a shield, and this is there's some type of effect here around the weapon, and this definitely looks like new armor and a new weapon here. So it's going to pop that, and then be able to attack it. And back in the background here, we're going to see another new weapon, and I don't know what's going on over here with Pete. He's just kind of hanging out over there. So Ride Together, this is going to be the big thing that I think a lot of people are interested in. Are these the same characters? Maybe they're supposed to be I guess they're supposed to be a little bit older. They look a little bit different. I guess yeah, it looks like the same characters. They have different hairstyles. So they're actually riding soldier ants. So, and you can see raw science in the background here. So and maybe there's a mint container. So there's going to be a lot of stuff from the first game, which makes sense. They're going to reuse it, but they're also adding on to it, which makes sense as well. And then back there, they're riding the soldier ants up an oak tree. And we got another recorder. We got some mixtape here. Again, all thematic here. And there's actually saddles on here. So you're going to have saddles to ride on. It'll be interesting to see if you can ride them and use them as storage as well. Base building here, no surprise. These are definitely new things here. This is new roof pieces. The rest of it looks pretty similar. There's whatever that's supposed to be. That's looks like some kind of Polynesian or Hawaiian thing back there. So we got different decorations, and there's something over here to the left. I can't tell what that is either. So it looks like a mix of old and new stuff for the building. Petting the pet here, and he's got on some type of Hawaiian shorts, so that maybe fits thematically there. But it's pretty cool that you can tame actual soldier ants and not just the regular ants, so they'll fight for you, which they show in just a second here. There's a little fight scene. So turrets are back. There's pine cones. The turrets are shooting grenades here. I will say one thing I really hope they do is they improve base defenses, because base defenses are in the first game, and I like they're in the first game, but there's just really not a lot of options to defend against them. The turrets were okay, but I hope they add a bunch of more traps. Here's a mantis here, so there's a praying mantis. So this actually makes sense. Having the orchid mantis in the first game, to me, was a bit of a stretch, because orchid mantises are not generally in the United States, but these things are all over the United States, so this actually kind of makes sense to have this here. And the mantis is actually doing a jump attack. The characters look a lot more detailed here, so that's pretty cool. Mantis has it, so it's probably going to have a similar attack pattern to the Mantis boss, but it's actually just going to be a regular boss. And over here is going to be the workbench, which looks a little more detailed than the first one. Big building here, a lot of the same building pieces. Go back a little bit there. So there's a new bow here, and this is some type of spider armor. So this looks different. I don't know if it's going to be orb weaver armor or just a different type of spider armor. So we got spider armor. And then here, there's going to be dual wielding. There was no dual wielding in the first game. So we got dual wielding with definitely a new type of armor there. I wonder if this is going to be some type of new spider armor, like Venom or something like that. Here's we got that looks like the Ladybird shield, but a one-handed mace that was not in the first game. And again, brand new armor here. So maybe actually, this looks like Ladybug armor. So this might be Ladybug or Ladybird armor. Pete's he's got, this looks like a melee staff here, honestly. I think he shoots ice with it, and he's got on completely new armor as well. And he's shooting an ice, so he's shooting a mint cap. And it does mint damage on another new type of bug. This looks like some type of maybe beetle or something like that. And then they're riding here to fight a stink bug. That's pretty cool there. You can actually use the bugs to parry attacks from the larva. So you can actually parry attacks. And that scene right there, I wanted to show, that was definitely something I was interested in. So here you have a character on a mount, and then in front, oh no, they're actually fighting here. Okay, I didn't see this before. They're fighting the ladybug. I thought the ladybug was fighting for them, so they're actually fighting the ladybug. Another, was that a different? There's yet another scorpion. So it looks like there's going to be a bunch of different types of scorpions in the game. And then here is going to, oh wait, is this a spider on spider fight here? Wait, he's riding the spider. This looks like the character, so you can actually have a spider mount fighting the wolf spider. That's awesome too. And yeah, like I said, it's coming in July. So July 29th, it's coming to Xbox Series X and S, PC, Cloud, and Steam. So let me know in the comments down below if you're as excited as I am for the sequel to Grounded. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos, and hit the like button so more people find this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.